Alright, hello and welcome back. Today we are going to make, in my opinion, the best mac and cheese ever. We're going to start with 2 tablespoons of butter. To that we are going to add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. We're going to heat this up, melt our butter, and make a roux. Alright, our butter is starting to melt. Let's give this a little bit of a stir. Now, as our butter continues to melt, we're only on low heat here. We're just going to keep stirring it and keep mixing it with our flour. Now, our roux is looking pretty nice. What we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of freshly ground sea salt. And after that, we're going to add in some freshly ground pepper. Now, the salt and pepper is to taste. You don't have to add a lot, although I do like pepper if you've watched my other videos, so I do tend to add a little bit much. And after you've added your salt and pepper, you want to stir everything together. Now, once everything is nice and mixed and bubbly, we're going to add in 2 cups of milk, and we're going to heat this on low to medium heat. And here we are adding our 2nd cup of milk. After we've added our milk, we're going to constantly stir this, and we're going to let it warm up. Now, as this is heating up, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. There's a half right there. And here's another half teaspoon of minced garlic going in. So it's 1 full teaspoon, and these half teaspoons were pretty heaping, if you ask me. I like garlic. And again, keep stirring this as it warms up. Now here you can see our sauce is starting to thicken as it heats up. Now what I do is I start dropping in some chunks of different cheeses. Here I'm dropping in some pepper jack cheese. We're just adding that to our sauce. It'll melt in with it as it warms up. There's the pepper jack. And after the pepper jack, we're going to throw in a little bit of yellow sharp cheddar. This dish is mainly based on yellow and white sharp cheddar. You can use whatever cheese you like, and I do, when I'm making this sauce, I do add in some different cheeses that I have. Now let's give those cheese chunks a stir, and they will begin melting into our white sauce. Okay, now that our white sauce is made and simmering, we're going to boil some water. We're going to add some salt to it. And we are going to boil 2 cups of elbow macaroni for about 7 minutes. So here we've added our macaroni and we've had it boiling here for a couple minutes now. We're going to let it go for the full 7 and then we are going to drain it. Now over here we have our sauce, which is melting in pretty good. It's nice and thick. We're going to give that a stir because you constantly want to stir this. And let's give our elbow macaroni a stir also. Okay, so here I have a greased casserole dish that I have coated in butter as far as grease goes. We're going to add a little bit of the cheese sauce to the bottom of our dish. And there's plenty of sauce. You don't need to skimp on this part. Now on top of our cheese sauce, we're going to add some of our drained elbow macaroni, and we're going to start our first layer. Now to that, we are going to add some dried minced onion, which really gives the dish a lot of flavor. I don't recommend leaving this out. Now on top of that, we're going to go in with some freshly shredded sharp white cheddar cheese and put that on top of our elbow macaroni. Now to that, we are going to add some freshly shredded, sharp, yellow cheddar cheese. We are going to cover this with some more of our white sauce, our cheese sauce. And we are just going to continue to do these layers until we run out of pasta, we run out of cheese sauce, and we run out of shredded cheese. which pretty much is going to take us to the top of this casserole dish. Now I'm just adding a little bit more pepper on top of this layer. We're going to go in with some more dried minced onion, and we're going to continue layering. So here is our final layer of elbows. We're going to put some pats of butter on top of these. We're going to put the rest of our cheese sauce on top of this layer. And then on top of that, we're going to go in with the rest of our shredded cheese. Our freshly shredded white sharp cheddar. And then on top of that, we're going to go in with our leftover freshly shredded yellow sharp cheddar. Alright, so now we are ready to put our lid on this, and we're going to put it in our oven at 350 degrees for about 45 minutes. Alright, so here we are in our oven. And yes, I left the pizza stone in there because I heated up the oven before I remembered that it was in there. You don't have to do that. And here we have cooked this for 45 minutes at 350 degrees. We've taken our lid off and we're going to let it go for another 15 minutes in the oven. Here's our finished mac and cheese. It's still nice and bubbly. We're going to let that cool for a little bit and then we're going to dig in for a taste test. So while I was making this, I was smoking a roast. And here's our mac and cheese to go with our roast. Looks pretty good and cheesy. Let's put a little bit more on there. You can never get too much mac and cheese. Alright, so here's our finished dinner plate with our cheesy broccoli, our mac and cheese, and our roast. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. See you next time.